My name is Jamie Setzer. I work at the Lincoln County Public Library in the History Room, and today I'm going to be talking about Ancestry.com and Heritage Quest. You can access the Ancestry Library Edition through the library's website through December 31st, 2020, and afterwards it will be evaluated on a month-by-month basis whether or not it will be offered for free. So you can go to mylincolnlibrary.org and scroll down to find the link, or mylincolnlibrary.org, which will take you through the Lincoln County website, and go to Databases and More, and then Ancestry Library Edition. And these are some of the other things that we offer for free. And then once you hit the Ancestry Library Edition, it'll take you to this website, and this will be their homepage. The Library Edition is a little bit different than the paid-for edition. The Library Edition, you cannot make up your own family tree. You can see other people's family trees, but you won't be able to make up your own. You can still save information, either by emailing it to yourself or downloading it and saving it to a computer. But there's a few differences in the systems. And there's a couple different ways you can start searching on this website. You can go up here to the left-hand side and start searching by looking at all categories: census and voter lists, birth, marriage, death, military, immigration, travel, or card catalog, which you can use to browse through Ancestry's entire collection. Or you can go down here to the bottom and search censuses, search vitals, search military, search immigration. So these links and these quick links at the bottom, which, like I said, you can look at public memory trees, you can do military, pictures, city directories, newspapers, or go over here and do census records and pick out the exact year you're looking for. But if we're going to start looking through censuses, and I do advise you to start with censuses, because while there are some instances where they're not reliable, they are usually the most reliable of the historic records. And the ones you can find are the 1790 through 1880, and then the 1900 through 1940. The most recent census available is the 1940 census due to a 72-year privacy restriction, and we're just 2 years away from seeing the 1950 census, which is pretty exciting. To me it is, because we're going to get to be able to see where people were living in the 50s and a good idea of people after World War II. So I'm kind of really psyched about it. Like I said, we're 2 years away from this. The only surviving records of the 1890 census are parts of Gaston County and others. There was a fire. The original data for the 1890 census is no longer available. Almost all the population schedules were damaged in a fire in the basement of the Commerce Building in Washington, D.C. in 1921. Some 25% of the materials were presumed destroyed, and another 50% damaged by smoke and water. So most of it was trashed. In the 1790 through 1840 censuses, only heads of household were listed by name. Everyone else was a tally mark. So in some of them, you will have males 0 through 5, and then 5 through 10, 10 through 15, 15 through 20, and so on and so forth. Some of them, like the very early, like 1790, I believe, only had about 3 categories, I think. And it was like categories through like 0 through like 16-year-old males, and then 16 and older. And to my interpretation, and it might be true, it might be false, I think that was more of who could serve on a militia rather than a population information. But after the 1840s, then you'll get to see those households, the entire household, not just the head of household, and then how many males were living in a house, how many females were living in a house, and what, a broad range of ages there were. This is a good tip that was told to me by somebody at a seminar, and I've used it a couple times to a good benefit. Pay attention to the neighbors. So say you have somebody in the 1870 census, and then you look for them in the 1880 census, and you can't find them. It's a good idea to go back to that 1870 census, look for their neighbors. Like they might be near the Arneys or the Adams or the Warlicks or Ramsors. Just keep a look at who the neighbors are, and then go back to that 1880 census and look for some of those same neighbors. I found a couple people that way, and it helps you get an idea sometimes of if someone's related to someone else. Because I found a family, and I can't remember what year it was, but the next year I couldn't find the father. I think he had died. And I found the mother living with one of the kids. And I looked at the neighbors, and a couple of her oldest sons were also living in a very close proximity. So that gave me a good idea that the CB people with those same names were her sons, living very close to her. Names are often misspelled: Cabe, Keeb, McCabe, Arnie, Ernie, and this is a good example that I found. This is John Mooney, but on the census record, to me, I mean, I'm looking for a Mooney. You know what I mean? So it might be apparent to me that that's Mauney. But whoever put in the census record, they thought it was Manney. So that's where you get into those parts where you have to pay attention to names, how they're spelled, and what the variations could be. Because, humans were inputting this information. And humans can make mistakes. We all can make mistakes. So look at that. Sometimes you'll have to make sure that you're looking for any variation that you can think of. So if we go back to census and voter lists, when you actually search just for census and voter lists, this is how it's going to look. And you can always narrow it by the category. You can do just US, you can do just UK, you can do just Canadian census collection, you can do just the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. And they always give you these little featured data collections. And you have the 1940 federal census, but down here at the bottom you have the US Indian census rolls, which are pretty interesting. And then you can view all the card catalog. And here's another little piece that shows up in the census records that doesn't quite fit. I mean, this is a reconstructed record for 1780, and it uses his name on two petitions to the General Assembly from citizens in Lincoln County requesting the return of their field officers, as an example that he was living in Lincoln County in 1780. So it's interesting some of the little pieces that are put in here. And so you can always see the source citation, or usually you can see the source citation. So it's in the General Assembly box, May 17, 79, and in the folder petitions. So that's another interesting part of Ancestry, is that you can see those citations and where somebody might have found that information. And so here is a Florida state census. And this is one of my great aunts, I believe. And it was just interesting that we found her just in Florida for the state census. She usually lives in North Carolina, and I believe she showed back up in North Carolina the next year or so, or whenever the next census was, 5 years after that. But for some reason, she was in Florida in 1945. So you can find state censuses on there too. So if you're looking through birth, marriage, and death, birth certificates weren't used in the U.S. until 1902. Of these three, marriage records are the easiest to find because marriage records are the ones that were kept before the other two. Death certificates weren't widely used until 1909, 1913. Deaths were recorded in mortality schedules for 1850 to 1880, and Ancestry has a link to Find a Grave. They actually, I believe, they own Find a Grave now. So when you're looking through the birth, marriage, and death, this is how it'll look when you're searching. And you can always narrow it by category: birth, baptism, and christening, marriage and divorce, death, burial, cemetery, and obituaries. And then, of course, here was those featured data collections. And if you click birth, baptism, and christening, you can actually narrow it down even farther. You can do like U.S. published Quaker family histories. You can do the LDS Pioneer and Handcart companies, U.S. Sons of the American Revolution membership applications. And down here at the bottom, like 3 up, you can do North Carolina birth indexes 1800 to 2000. And then you can narrow it even farther. You can actually just do locality Lincoln County. And then the year 1913 to 1991. And then you can look through that whole roll of microfilm, looking at all the people who were born between those years. And so this one right here, this is an example of the index to vital statistics, births, Lincoln County. So it'll have the last name, first name, sex, color, place of birth, name of father, name of mother, and what page it was wrote on, and what date of birth was. And then so if you went back and done death certificates, this is what it looked like. And then this is where you could browse the collection and what year you're looking at. So this does start at the 1912. Marriage records, they're not listed in the index, so you can't browse them. You can search them. You can search for a specific person, but you can't browse through like how we were going to look at the other ones, where you just look through the microfilm. For some reason, Lincoln County is not in that microfilm index. So wills, probates, land, tax, and criminal. Okay, so the film rolls for wills and probates are very long, because in those packets of the wills and probates, they were scanning every single little piece of paper in those packets. And if it was a note that he owed 50 cents to somebody, a neighbor, they were scanning it. And this is a good little tip that I picked up. Never stop where Ancestry says the end is. I mean, whenever you're looking through wills and probates, I would look before it tells you, it starts here for, J.W. Smith. I don't know. Before it says it's the beginning of his will, look before it, and then look after it says the end of his will and probate is in the microfilm rolls, because I've found for some reason some of the numbers are off. I found rolls before, like films before, and I found films after that I would have missed if I'd stopped where it said that it started the next person. And on the little roll it says, could be, like I said, J.W. Smith, and it could be M. Smith. But when you look at M. Smith's information, there's still stuff for J.W. Smith. So I'd pay attention to that. Court records like the Court of Pleas and Quarter Sessions are not uploaded. For whatever reason, those were never uploaded to Ancestry. Some of the land grants are uploaded, but some of the land records are not uploaded, just like the Court of Pleas and Quarter Sessions. Those can be viewed here at the Lincoln County Public Library, but they're not on Ancestry. So this right here is an example of something that I found in a will and probate record. So this is actually John C. Warlick. He's the guardian of these children, his children. And I believe this is Aunt Elvira Coulter, which John C. Warlick stands for John Coulter Warlick. This is his aunt, left money to his children. And so this is the document that was in and see, this right here will tell you. It says the state record, Summerall, J.F. Warren, Hugh. But it doesn't concern them, actually. It's actually John C. Warlick and Elvira Coulter. So, like I said, just keep an eye on, before and after information on people's wills and probates. This is a tax assessment list for Maxwell Warlick. So you can find those on here. And whatever this means, quantity or valuation was 12 months and the total was $10. So I'm not exactly sure what they were evaluating for $10. This is the card catalog for land records. And so this has been filtered down to wills, probates, land tax, and criminal, land records, USA, North Carolina. But you'll also see some from Tennessee, just because, boundaries have changed and people have bought land in different areas. So you can always look through here and see any of the land records. And this is an example of a land grant for Daniel Warlick, and it's in Lincoln County, 1806. So it says Lincoln County, Warlick Daniel, 38 acres, grant number issued the December 1806. And then it gives a little bit of a description, not a very big description, but it's on Howard's Creek, 6-mile water of Howard's Creek. And you can also look through the state Supreme Court case files, and you just do, year range if you're browsing. So that's about all I have for Ancestry, but we're going to get into Heritage Quest now. So Heritage Quest is owned by Ancestry, and so you'll see that a lot of its layout is like Ancestry, and some of the stuff is also on Ancestry. So you're going to go to our website again, and you're just going to scroll down, which is mylincolnlibrary.org, and you're going to scroll down and click on NC Live. And then once you click on NC Live, you're going to go over here to the right hand side and browse all A through Z. And you're going to go to H, and you're going to go to Heritage Quest. And then this is the home page for Heritage Quest. And you'll notice that it has, a very similar feel to Ancestry already. So a lot of the information you're going to find on here is going to be the same, but it's almost like the library edition, only there's a couple things that's missing off of here. And this one's always free. The other one is only free until they tell us it's not free anymore because, they're giving it out for free because of the pandemic. This one, Heritage Quest, has always been free, and you just have to access it through your library's website and put in your library card. The reason why it went straight through here is because I'm actually on the server, but you'll probably have to put in your own library card and password, which should be the last 4 of your phone number. So you're going to find the Heritage Quest website, and you can do your searching, search census, search books, search wills and probates, city directories, military records, immigration records. This is actually the interesting part about book results. You'll have all these different book results, and then you can find the Annals of Lincoln County. You can actually look through Annals of Lincoln County on here for free. And then so you can actually search through the Annals of Lincoln County for, like I looked for specifically ram sewer. So you can see it's on the table of contents, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 5. So that's interesting that you can search through a couple of the publications that, you would have to look through here. You could do the memorial address of A. Nixon, delivered at New Hope, Lincoln County. You can search through it. So if you want to do that, you would do this. You would fill in all of this information. That's about the only difference between Heritage Quest and Ancestry, is that it's always free. Thank you for watching my video, and feel free to contact me at the Lincoln County Public Library. You can call 704-732-9040 and ask for Jamie. or ask for someone who will help you with the history department. Have a good day. Thank you.